dear friends, and we are so much happy to welcome you to our international discussion about the conference which took place on the 4th of December called Global Crisis, Time for the Truth. This is the conference which united people from 180 countries, and the conference when finally, bravely, to the whole world was voiced the truth which is uncomfortable, the truth which is silent by most people and which is not comfortable to discuss in the society. During the conference, our participants, people from 180 countries, specialists in various fields of science, scientists themselves, specialists, voiced a huge amount of facts. The conference caused a huge resonance among people from all over the world who are continuing to join the Creative Society project. And it is now when we're preparing for the new online forum, and it has started.
Yes, and the International Online Forum Global Crisis, We Are People We Want to Live, is a large-scale and unprecedented event organized thanks to the independent unification of millions of people from more than 180 countries on the Creative Society platform. It will be broadcasted around the world on tens of thousands of channels on social and media platforms. This event is initiated and implemented on a volunteer basis by people from more than 180 countries on their own efforts and resources. And today we will begin our international discussion with our guests and we will discuss about the information that was presented at the Global Crisis Time for the Truth. And today we're having with us Dr. Adrian Daisley, who is World Peace Ambassador from Sweden, Director of International Public Relations at GEPEA, consultant, coach, and Sparsh Sumani, who is CEO ALAGS News.
Warm welcome to everyone today. All right, let me begin with the first question that we are willing to address. Dr. Adrian, how about you, if I begin with you? We know that you have learned about the conference and the project from Her Majesty Queen Uba. And in practice, we see how important it is when people from different countries share with each other about the project, about the conference, and how the information goes from one person to another. Dr. Adrian, your impression about the conference, about the information that you heard, about the facts that were voiced by people and specialists from all over the world. Please share with us.
Of course. My first impression was we are living in a time where we're moving away from the silos. We're moving away from the concept of being alone in everything that we do in our society. We have a saying in Barbados, no man is an island. However, as we move into our global work, we realize that there is a need for collaboration. When I saw the conference, one thing that moved me more than anything else was how millions of people just came together to collaborate and to talk about solutions. The greatest thing about, the conference for me was how many people were actually mobilized to make a difference in our society, and also showed, the reach of our globalization as well.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this understandings. It's truly, inspiring. And now the question I wanted to ask our other guest, Sparsh Sumani. So we know that you invited our participants to live broadcast to tell your audience about Creative Society project and the conference before it even began. Thank you very much for that. And this is just showing it's an example bright example of how we can, put this information forward that was presented in the conference, during the conference. Now, what are your impressions from this conference, watching it?
Yeah, definitely. It had been a pleasure for me to share and broadcast this, a conference to my audience. And, one thing that fascinates me about the Creative Society is that the members here have mastered the art of turning obstacles into opportunities. Be it COVID, when we all were locked down, and the members took it as an opportunity to organize such great international discussions and conferences online so that more and more people could know about the Creative Society. The main part was the refugee review. I was watching the refugee documentary from the conference, The Global Crisis Time for the Truth, and it invoked a lot of thoughts in my mind. I started thinking, what would I expect if I was in their shoes?
To continue our today's discussion, we would like to show a small video right now about the refugees, and today we're going to touch the subject of refugees. Right now, I'd like to ask our technical support, please show us the video.
Why is there such inhuman treatment of people? I was thinking about it and decided to figure it out.
You will never spend a month without being attacked with a xenophobic attack, because they say as a foreigners we are stealing their work. I've lost that hope of being in the great society. I don't know, I've lost that hope because seeing the way that people are being killed, seeing the way that people are being shot in my eyes.
A child can be sold many times. I remember one day I came across the story of a girl who was, she was Turkish. She had been sold 17 times, and she had been trafficked from one country to another 17 times, and she had experienced only rape.
I also sat in many auctions as a customer, as an undercover when I was doing the undercover. We were sitting for the auctions, 9-year-old girl, 10-year-old girl, as per the demands. So the trade called the first time sex.
Called X, but the country now is underwater. Or I had a village, and this village is being totally destroyed. or disappearing.
It turns out that there are still no effective programs for the resettlement of refugees. For so many years, the United Nations has been working. For so many years, the Refugee Rights Commission has been working. So many humanitarian organizations and NGOs around the world have been working, but there are no working, established or adopted programs on how to work with these refugees. There are none. And the Refugee Commission itself admits this.
Now refugees are forced to leave their homes. They face condemnation and cruelty. They are left alone with their misfortune because of the consumerist format of society. Tomorrow's climate catastrophes could be upon us as well. Answer yourself honestly. Are you ready to face what refugees face? Are you sure you won't be in their shoes? That you and your loved ones won't have to go through what they're going through.
This is truly sad. And, you know, it's really sad that in 21st century, in the age of development, as it is considered, we're a civilized society, we still have the concept of slavery and sale of people. What do you think? Can we call ourselves as a civilization in the first place?
I don't really think so. I believe that this human evolution is really, it can be called as a mismanaged evolution, you know, because we humans are like, we are just okay to just kill anybody and kill anyone for anything, be it food, be it our own profits or anything, you know, we just think that we are genius. But I don't think so. It is a disgrace on earth to call ourselves as genius humans, because we are not, and that is the sad truth. You know, talking about refugees, I come from an India which welcomes refugees and migrants from different countries. There are many atrocities that are being committed to minorities in our neighboring countries. But India as a country, even though it is very much overpopulated, has launched or introduced a new law, the CAA-NRC law, which welcomes the minorities of our neighboring countries to live and work here. I still think, why is it that we don't have funds when it comes to refugees, but we do have funds when we have to build some great walls? We need to understand that constructing walls around wouldn't help us, but instead introducing laws where refugees can easily get citizenship and get trained to, help the nation, that is definitely going to work. In this consumerism society, we all think about profits. So why do we take refugees as a problem? I believe that refugees are not a problem, but instead they are a solution to innumerable problems, especially in the underpopulated countries, which are in great need of human resources, or to replace the aging population. I think that we need to change our mindset and look for better options to support everyone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sumani, for your answer. Dr. Adrian, I'd like to address the next question to you, and would like to comment a little bit on the video that we've just watched. In the age of climate disasters, we see that the number of refugees is increasing, and indeed no one is really protected, because the climate does not ask where you live, what your status is, what nationality you are, where you came from. And we see indeed that the rights of those people, they are not protected at all. And we also see that the climate is changing, and we see like the cascade of the waves of different disasters happening all over the world. In one place, the territories are burning, the other ones are being flooded. In the other territories, we have unprecedented tornadoes, volcanoes eruption, and so on. What should be the society from your point of view, and what values, first of all, what kind of values from your point of view should prevail in the society? Please share with us your understanding, sir.
I believe that the role of advocacy for crisis climate needs to be promoted, simply because lots of people hear about climate change, but it's happening far away from me. And so for many years, because climate has been affecting countries like, for example, India and places that are, China, Japan, I see it as so far away from me, I don't need to be involved. However, we've been seeing an uptake in storms here in the Caribbean, for example, and people are beginning to become aware that, having storms out of nowhere, for example, we knew that there was a particular month we were going to have storms, because it's pretty common to have hurricanes in Barbados, for example, and tropical storms, but it isn't common to have tropical storms in times when we're not expecting them. And so what people are here realizing is that we need to get on board. We need to start looking at empowering other people to empower other people through education. And so the role of education should be one of the values, educating people about the reality of climate, the climate mitigated crisis. It can be mitigated if we can find a way to put our differences aside, not to politicize climate change, because the climate is affecting everyone. It doesn't matter who you are supporting or following, it affects everyone. I also think that we need to have an advocate to assist in determining persons' rights. And I said that because a lot of people don't even know what their rights are. If they see on television, okay, those are my rights, but how do I bring it close to home? How do I make human rights something that I know is mine, and also make it popular enough that the person in an affected country can say, this is my rights are being violated. The other thing is seeing human life as it was intended, valuable, understanding that it isn't about human capital, because people are now seen as, tools to be used to get, money to produce. However, we forgot the concept of, if I don't take care of the machine breaks down. If you don't take care of people, society breaks down. And so we need to move away from the concept of it's your problem, not mine, into the concept of it's our problem.
Thank you so
please
much.
Share with us also about the values. What are the core values from your point of view should be fundamental in the whole society, global society, first of all?
Sure. I think peace and security should be something that should be considered. Food and security as well. The concept of peace, people don't realize that we can actually, if there is a lack of food, there's going to be a lack of peace. If there's a lack of resources, there's going to be a lack of peace. And so we need to move into a concept of peace. Is not something that is done through diplomacy and only through high polity, but also through small non-governmental organizations, empowering individual advocates with the power of the state so that they can actually represent their countries with the authority that is necessary to bring about change, as much as we would have a police officer or a soldier. I think that we need to realize that the value of human life needs to be put on top again. We need to move away from the value of things to the value of people. That would be my submission, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adrian. It's really, truly inspiring and true. As you said, that people need to be educated, need to be informed about this global crisis in order to act. And this is what Creative Society and all these conferences, forums are all about. because as we see, as it's clear today, as you already mentioned, that climate crisis, climate change is not somewhere in China, somewhere in India. It's knocking at everyone's door today. We can see clearly what's going on. And as the scientists say, it will get worse and worse, and we need to unite. And it's really clear that the climate is our common enemy, the enemy of all mankind, the humanity. And it has become clear also that we must stop fighting, we must stop all this war. And we have only one enemy, the climate crisis. All this crisis is going on due to that too. So my question is to you again, Sparsh, Sumani, that can we stand against such powerful enemy on our own when we are, alone? Can we deal with it alone? And by leaving this consumerist form of society, is there any chance of winning this war?
Right. So I don't think so that, we can do it alone. I recall when I was young and we were in an event and performing a skit in which it was like one of my friends gave me a small stick of wood and I was able to break it very easily. But then when we get, say, a bunch of sticks of wood, it is very tough to break them all together. This is what we need to do. We need to unite, no matter where we belong to, no matter what is our religion, no matter what is our age. We need to be together to actually get this, to fight back this universal enemy. Because again, as one of our guests just said, that yes, climate change as a problem will not ask you, hey, are you a Hindu? Can I displace you? Hey, are you a Muslim? Can I displace you? No, it's not like that. We all need to be together to make this change possible. And of course, I think so that this particular society in which we value others for money, we value others for the reason that they can help us generate profit, I don't think so this way anything will be possible. I think that this change will be slow and gradual, but we need to speed up because climate change isn't that slow as we are.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sumani. And I'd like to address the next question to both speakers. Please share with us what, from your point of view, is the force which stands behind the unification of people, and how can we unite together in the intention to make the creative society which is peaceful, which is friendly, and like, for example, Dr. Adrian said, where the life of every human is the main value. But first of all, about the force of unification, please share with our dear guests.
Yes, if I may, I think that the concept of love for my fellow man, understanding that there is a great force called love that can make a difference in our society. There is no change without love. There is no development without love. There's no investment without love. There's no understanding without love. And so for me, that the greatest force would be love, but love working in tandem with humanity, understanding the ability to humble themselves. I think that we are proud people. We as human species, we believe that we are the center of the universe and everything revolves around us. And I think that in years to come, people are going to realize that it isn't true, that the universe does not revolve around us. If there are billions of stars out there and billions of galaxies, then it's possible that if we can take our eyes from up and look down at each other and look across from ourselves. We've been taught through science, for example, to probe the deepest, most invisible things. And we've been taught by science how to probe the farthest outreach things in the cosmos. But while we are doing these things, we bypass the most important former creation, mankind. We bypass each other. We step over persons going to our conferences. We ignore persons asking for resources, and we have found ourselves in a place in our society where we can't call ourselves human anymore. Where we've moved away from the concept of what humanity is. Humanity has nothing to do with things. Humanity has to do with togetherness. It has to do with partnership. It has to do with community. It is raising me understanding that it is my responsibility to help you, not for what I can receive, and like Sumani would have said, but from the thing that is derived from giving to others is the feeling of the ability to give. A gift is only as valuable as if it is given away, and we've been taught to wait until we receive, so that we can give. But we need to move away from that concept, move into the understanding that we're all here for one reason and one reason only, and that is for the other person.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adrian. Mr. Sumani, please share with us also your opinion on the same question. What force may unleash the unification of people, where people value the life of every person, where people are living in peace, friendship, support? What force, creative force, I believe, may be unleashed when people are united? Please share with us your opinion.
I believe that it is education, because when a child is young, they are really pure, and it is upon the society what we add into them, and that this is how they change. So a proper education and counseling of students will lead to a better future ahead, because again, we, the young people, are the future of this planet, and of course it is very important to take care of these young kids, who are 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. They are going to be really important for the future. Scientifically, I can't quote, but I have heard somewhere that the first 5 years of one's life decides the next 80 years. And this is where we have to work upon. We have to work on young kids with what we are feeding into them. I am really saddened to say that our education system is really punctured. The good education, the international education, which is really valuable, is completely different with what is being received in the government schools or those who cannot really afford it. Education is a necessity and not a luxury. It is not that we go to some 5-star luxurious schools to get that. No. The quality of education is very important. And when I say quality education, I am not talking just about the schools, but we are talking about the overall environment of the child, be it through the home and the schools, and of course the conferences like the Creative Society is organizing. Or there is a great new way of model United Nations in which we get to represent some other country, which is maybe a so-called rival. We can come to their shoes. We can talk on behalf of that particular country in model UN, the United Nations simulation, and understand and analyze what's actually wrong. And these small things together will build up to be a better world.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's truly inspiring what you're saying. It's true what you're saying. The problem of education also, comes from the root problem, which is the consumerist format of the society. It's not just one problem, it's linked to the root problem, and all other problems derive from it, That's why we just need to stop this format and act towards building new format of society, that is creative society. Thank you, dear guests, for today's warm, very good conversation. Thank you for setting a bright example of action and for being the people who care about the society, the fate of humanity. And we invite everyone to our next forum, which is called International Online Forum Global Crisis. We are people we want to live, which will take place on May 7, 2022. If you are an expert in any of the above mentioned topics, or you are the one who knows in practice about the atrocities of the consumerist format of society, human slavery, and the problems of refugees, or if you are a witness to climate cataclysm, please contact us. Who else but you will tell the truth? We all need to tell the truth, stay, stand by each other, and act towards it. Thank you again.
Thank you, dear guest, for expressing your opinion today, and it was really a pleasure to hear you, hear your understanding, and hear your opinion. Thank you for joining us today, and hopefully to see you at the next meetings, conversations, discussions, online forums. Thank you.
Thank you very much for hosting such great discussion forums. And I must say that, few superheroes might be fictitious, but I think that the members of creative society are the new and real superheroes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much for the opportunity to share and to underscore. We need to train leaders, our priests, our doctors, our teachers, our scientists. We need to help families to choose life, choose humanity over desperation. And we need to inform our organizations to choose human life over currency, human life over consumerism. Thank you so very much. Creative Society, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you.
Thank you. Creative Society, by the way, Mr. Sumani, is people themselves. So you're part of it. It's not just we, the participants. I mean, you are a participant right now talking about it spreading. So Creative Society is people's projects. So we're implementing it right now by doing this conversation, by informing, spreading the information. So you're a part of it as well. Thank you for Creative Society.
We all are together in this. Thank you.